I can't think of anyone who hasn't heard of the movie Frankenstein or read the book. It is embedded into our culture now, and the face of that embedding is Boris Karloff. I'm just going to look at the film strictly and put aside the book. I want to look at the merit of the movie rather than a book report. I'll run down the movie quickly with some comments and try to maybe add some thought to a movie that's sparked opinions for 81 years now. Directed by James Whale and starring Boris Karloff in his iconic makeup, here's the 1931 classic, Frankenstein. At the start, they do a Carl Laemmle introduction and warning. It's a pretty good build-up, actually. It's interesting they don't credit Karloff in the title cards. It was supposed to be Bela Lugosi originally, even promoted as such, but left due to creative differences. Frankenstein digs up his prized body and is very excited indeed.
He's just resting, waiting for a new life to come.
Well, everyone's got to have a hobby, I guess. Looking at the background, it reminds me of the Cabinet of Dr. Caligari, with its expressionist style. Very morbid scenes. Well, Frankenstein's servant makes off with the wrong brain, apparently. I didn't dig into the science on this, but I think we can overlook it. Well, meet Elizabeth and Victor, who's a real smooth talker with this girl. The side story comes in later, but I find it boring here. Check out Frank's pad. Frankenstein's laboratory is impressive though, very creative and engaging. Frankenstein goes over his final plans for the storm when Elizabeth and company crash the experiment, more out of concern for Frankenstein than out of curiosity. Who called Frankenstein crazy?
Crazy, am I? We'll see whether I'm crazy or not.
The curiosity of the group does build, and it's a lead-up to the greatest scientific breakthrough in movie history. All of this makes me think that the movie Reanimator is more of a spoof of Frankenstein than anything else. Anyway, love how the monster ascends to the ceiling, and that couldn't be comfortable on Karloff laying wrapped on the slab for the whole scene. As the monster begins to move, we hear the famous words.
Oh, it's alive! It's alive! It's alive! It's alive! Oh, in the name of God! Now I know what it feels like to be God! Oh.
I don't want to jump into too much filler of the movie. Most is similar to the novel. Frankenstein is expected to marry but is caught up with his experiments. Our first look at the monster displays Jack Pierce's skilled makeup job and the iconic face of horror with Karloff behind it. Frankenstein ordering the monster around, things go wrong very fast, and with Karloff's acting, you can't help but feel sorry for him, especially watching Fritz torture it with fire. After he kills Fritz though, the thought of destroying it becomes the next solution for the doctor. Not to get too into it, but like the novel, Frankenstein abandons his experiments and the monster he creates, which of course comes back to haunt him. This was the first popular Frankenstein release, and I imagine its depiction was far more impressive than any rehash that's been done since. There is an infamous scene where the monster plays with a little girl throwing flowers in the water. Not too sure I understand the enjoyment of that, but the monster eventually throws the girl into the water. This scene was omitted from the movie for over 50 years. The monster seeks his revenge, only inciting a mob to rush after him to destroy him. The fight scenes that square off with Frankenstein at the end aren't very entertaining, but Karloff is fun to watch. It must have been hard moving with those big shoes. Eventually the monster is supposedly destroyed in the farmhouse, although the monster managed a few other movies after this. For this movie, however, he is assumed dead. Karloff's daughter once said that children got it more than adults. The monster was the victim, being brought into a strange world he could never fit into. I think I would have to agree with that, handicapping someone willingly to begin life. The setting is well crafted together, and the lab is very stereotypical of the time and is certainly entertaining. The lab in its own way is just as notable as Karloff's appearance. The acting was fine, but the actor's delivery is characteristic of the time, I find. That's Frankenstein in a nutshell. I just wanted to touch base on a horror classic. This is Pat for HMRG. Thanks for watching.